She wondered if there's a way out of the blue. Who's gonna take her home this time? She knew that this time wouldn't be the last time. There she waits, looking for a savior, someone to save her from a dying self. Always taking 10 steps back and 1 step forward. She's tired, but she don't stop. Every day she stood hoping for a new life. She closed her eyes, then she heard a small voice say, "You don't stop, no, you belong to me."
Welcome, sisters.
Why? Maybe it's too late. Don't stop.
Moons to wisdom, welcome. Lovely to see your faces here, Teresa. Welcome, Katya, welcome. These are going to be 3 days of journeying into dark feminine self-leadership. And so nice to see some familiar faces here. I want to welcome each one of you live and those who will be watching the replay. Over the last months, I have received many questions around the dark feminine wisdom and self-leadership, and this is what we are going to be discussing in these 3 days. Today, as part of day 1, we are going to discuss some concepts around dark feminine and self-leadership, and I would love for us to get this interactive. My name is Jonita D'souza. I always forget to introduce myself for the ones who are here for the first time with me. Let me know where you're joining from. Let's see where we are weaving this web. Please put in the chat. Right now I am residing in Poland in Central Europe. Where are you joining from? Welcome, Jodine is here. Oregon, Colorado, right. Georgia. Welcome, Stacy. Right. So as I was preparing for this workshop, or I would like to call it more like a mistress class because it feels much better to think this way. So I was preparing some presentations and some slide decks, and then I realized that this is not the vibe that I want to bring forward. I want to come together, and instead of it being a presentation, I want to make it a conversation, share stories, concepts, ideas that we can really relate to. So So hence no slides, which kind of saved my time, and I'm happy. But I would love to know in the chat, do you like slide presentations when you are joining any workshops or circles? Because I like to keep the flow going without it. So this is my style, but I'm really curious and open. Canada, yes. So the reason I decided to check away my presentation is because the concept and the conversation around dark feminine is something that I feel that we are beginning to curate space for, and this is such a triggering conversation. Also, it is something which is very familiar for many of us, and I welcome throughout our time together to feel into what is coming through you as I share my story, my concepts, and my learnings. See how it is relating to your bodies. And you know, one of the good things about us women are that we are great storytellers. We learn from stories, and also we learn in social we learn through sociology. It's very important for us, and this has been a very much foundational since the beginning of times. If you see and read more about the ancient lineages, they left us pieces of stories. They did not leave us to-do lists to figure out our lives, right? So I find it really fascinating how stories and experiences can be shared, and resonance can be experienced in many women from different parts of the world, different demographics, different backgrounds, diversity, and all of that. There are so many common threads that we experience in our ebbs and flows of womanhood. So I hope you have your journal handy, because I will be sharing some aspects that might resonate to you, and maybe you want to take notes of some words that are coming up for you, some ahas that are coming out for you, and maybe those hold some importance to you. Let's see. Small amounts of slides is okay, yeah. Right, a good mix, right? Right. So also, for those of you who have registered, I will be organizing, facilitating another circle, a shamanic dark feminine healing circle, on the 27th of August, and this is specifically going to be we're just going to go deep into a healing journey for up to an hour, and you're welcome to participate in that. It is available for purchase, or it is available for as a free gift to you if you are inviting any other sister to join us inside these wounds to wisdom. I always like to give incentives, so if you want to bring more women to this conversation, then please feel free to do this. What I have noticed in my last 13 years of being in the business of this work, and having worked with many women, I have noticed a common thread that we feel lonely and unheard and unseen in our journeys. Like when we go through life with our emotions and daily chores, we feel like we are the only ones, and it's only happening to us, and there are many reasons. The patriarchy silenced us, made us doubt about ourselves, we became wounded and victims and all of that, and hence here we are creating our seat of belonging, to belong, to create, to come together in places like this where we feel belong, because we feel the resonance. So it's the time to drop that mask, I would say. I've been feeling about it, like it's time for us to drop the masks, specifically those of us who are in the realm of holding space for other women. I feel that there are less and less space where facilitators and women who are in service, who want to be in service, can go and really drop the mask, right? And wounds are the best place to begin. So about the dark feminine shamanic healing journey that is happening on the 27th. You must have received the link in your welcome email, so feel free to read about it. If it is something that you want to join and experience, or have it as a ceremony at some other time, you are gonna get the replay if you register for that. But also, again, it's available for free for you if you are inviting another sister, another woman to join this conversation of wounds to wisdom. Just reach out to me if you have done that, and I'll give you the access. And wounds. So in my background is of Eastern philosophy, and I have studied and practiced and taught around the realms of Taoism, but also classical lineage-based Tantra, which is very different from exactly the Western version of Tantra, which is more focused on sacred sexuality and the Neo-Tantra aspect. The classical Tantra, the lineage-based Tantra, holds the sacred sexuality aspect as just about 10%. There is so much more. There's so much more to embody as women. And I want to bring those concepts here in these 3 days together. And wounds are really great places to begin, because in classical Tantra, wounds are considered as thresholds. And there is a very nicely written context that wounds are the exact places where light and darkness blends, or light and darkness kiss. So if you really can imagine, wounds are places where, you know, there's a rupture, something opens, there's this darkness, there's this dark night of the soul, and only then through that darkness is when we get to experience the kiss of light. And that's how the wounds are considered as sacred portals in this lineage. Wounds are considered as the map to what? The wisdom. Wounds are considered as the map, and the wisdom is the destination, because everything leads to us to embody a new wisdom that we already know exists inside of us, right? And I like to feel into these kind of definitions of wounds and triggers, because it makes me feel more excited to even pursue them, right? Because these can be really heavy topics. So as we go deeper into these 3 days, I want you to remember this, that wounds are the places, the exact places, and I think there's some beautiful quotes from Rumi around it as well, but wounds are the exact places where light and darkness gets to unite, right? Gets to kiss together, right? And every wound, and by wound we're talking about emotional wounds, right? We're not talking about physical wound that we got a scratch or whatever. So wounds, the emotional wounds, right? Every wound carries a message. It reveals to us places where we have abandoned ourselves and where love has not yet entered, right? And the love is the light here. So I want to really congratulate you in taking the time out of your busy life to discuss all of this, join this conversation. So I'm really grateful for your presence, and I would love for you to put in the chat if something resonates with you, or if something that drops here and makes you feel like, wow, okay, I want to hold on to that. That makes me feel good. That is the wisdom that I require today, right? Because my invitation throughout these 3 days will be for you and me and all of us to drop the mask, okay? Yeah, light and darkness kiss in the wounds. Yeah. And this is very much related to self-leadership, and I'm going to get into that in a bit. But before that, I want us to get present in our bodies for a bit. And let's practice dropping the mask. So if there is a space that you feel comfortable right now to go inwards for the next 2-3 minutes, I invite you to do that. For those of you who are live and those who will be watching the replay, let's do some presencing. So I invite you to just close your eyes. And just notice your breath. How it is coming in and going out. Just noticing your breath, that's it. Noticing the flow of your breath. And I invite you to be here in this space. Allow your body to just connect with this rhythm. Whatever it is for you right now, just connecting with this rhythm. And as you're connecting with the rhythm of your breath, maybe invite in more breath. Offer more spaciousness to this breath by exhaling through the mouth. Just dropping in your body. And I now invite you to bring your palms together and begin to rub them, creating some warmth, activating some energy. Letting go of contact, feeling the tingles. And then when you're ready, place your warm palms softly over your closed eyes and be here in this position. Feel the darkness behind your eyelids. Being here, allowing yourself to breathe deeply and exhale out through the mouth as well. And feel the safety of this darkness, of this cocoon right now. There is nowhere else you got to be now, other than with you, yourself, here, present. In this darkness, you are held, you are holding and you are held. Here, no one is watching. You have no roles to play, no masks to hold. As women, we carry the weight of the masks, different masks. Masks of I am fine, masks of perfection, masks of being strong for everyone else, masks of getting everything done for everyone. But in this moment, we are meeting ourselves here. And I invite you to whisper silently to yourself, I choose to see my truth now. I choose to see myself as I am now. I choose to drop my masks now. Take a deep breath from the nose. Exhale from the mouth. Notice what else is a mask in your life that you feel that you're holding on to because of everybody else. People, family, relations, society, jobs. Imagine those masks melting, dissolving into the warmth of your hands. When you are ready, lower your palms as if you are dropping the mask, keeping the eyes closed, dropping the masks, keeping the eyes closed, feeling the softness of light on your face without the masks. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. You are here. You are safe. And I invite you to now open your eyes. And if you are in the camera, have a look at yourself. Have a look at yourself. Meet yourself here. Show yourself here without the masks. See the other women here without the masks. It is safe. We are safe. And welcome, sisters. From this place, it's going to be a juicy conversation. Welcome, Rochelle. Dropping the masks, being seen. Who else wants to be seen? We are here to drop the masks. One of the biggest wounds of the feminine is that she doesn't feel seen. Yet we do this to ourselves. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. Scared to be seen as well as relief at being seen. Yeah, we would love to see you. If you can come on camera just for this few seconds, those of you who are able to, Just want to weave this web. Thank you. Trying, yeah. So, what's your intention to be here? Sisters, let's put in the chat. Welcome, Kim. Yes. Safe to be seen. We get to practice being seen in safe environments. Right. That's right, yeah. Thank you. So, welcome, welcome, welcome once again. I want to share with you the journey that got me here. And I invite you to feel any resonance that you have felt as a result of being in the journey of self-discovery. So back in, some of you know my background, and I'm going to be really quick, brief, but also I know that some of you are new here, those who are watching now and watching the replay. Working with core wounds and sacred boundaries, right? We're going to talk about it today. So back in 2007 was when I first encountered one of the biggest dark nights of my soul, as I remember it. That was a time in my life where I was in deep depression because of the death of my father, who was my biggest cheerleader. And I was angry with God. I was really young at the time. I was 23. And I didn't know my life without him. I didn't understand how to navigate through my life without the support of this one person who has been guiding me to be an independent woman since I remember. And my grief, my depression led me to encounter an autoimmune disease. So health was just getting worse. And so was my relationship, the romantic one. Nothing was working. Slowly everything was falling apart. Everything. I had a good job, a good relationship, money was coming in, social circle, but internally I was falling apart, and as a result my external world was falling apart. I was an IT engineer then, before doing this work. Like many Indians, I became an IT engineer, known for that, right? I was no exception. That's what I had been taught since childhood. Study hard, work hard, get a good job, make money. I became an IT engineer. I was really good in coding. And when I was in London, and then this happened, I was lost, and I had no family with me, and I couldn't share my grief with my family at that time because the death of my father had shaken my small family. We were and we still are very close knit. The death happened very suddenly. It was not expected. So my mother went into depression. My brother had to take care of the funeral and all of that. So he was going through his own thing. So I had no place to also share about my grief, my autoimmune disease, and everything that I was going through. And this is when, through many nights of having angry conversations with God, a rescue came for me in the face of a Facebook ad. I would say I came across something called the Essence Code. And so I went there, and this lady, she was talking about the body code. This is when I started to cry a lot, because I was a really good engineer. I knew all the coding. But whatever she was talking about the body, I had no idea. I had no idea what the body code was, and what is this feminine thing, and what is that, what is this energy and energetics around it, the principles. It was all sounding very familiar, but I had no understanding. And then that led me to inquire more. I started studying with her, and that was beautiful. I started understanding more of myself, why my life was looking like that, why I was depressed, how I could deal with my emotions, and how I can bring safety in my body, grief, loss, pain, all of that. It was all making sense to me. My body began to cure itself. And this was one of the best journeys I was on. And I was really excited. I was sharing this with my friends. Nobody was interested in my stories, in my woo-woo journey. And I started a women's circle, just to have women around me, to share this experience of growth and practice together. But then soon the women began to ask for me to lead circles and expand circles, and I had no idea. So all of this led me to slowly learn more about the business, about leadership, about facilitation itself, right? How to hold space when you are going through difficult times. It's tough. Anyways, so that was my journey. And on the other hand, I also realized I was an MBA in IT systems at the time, so I was doing some really good job in my corporate world. However, I thought this is a good opportunity for me to start my own business. So I went into all those strategy and sales and networking and all of those kind of workshops that were happening in London. I hired a mentor. And so while I was doing my spiritual work, I was also doing some strategy alongside that, and soon everything began to work in my favor. Business was coming in, but I was going back in my old patterns of not feeling fulfilled, not feeling satisfied, not understanding what's going on with me. Why do I sometimes feel so good and I can do a lot of things? Then why do I sometimes just hate everything I do? Why do I show up at times? Why don't I? So there was a lot of confusion. It was then when my teacher at that time, this teacher, she said to me a very interesting thing, that when a woman begins her journey of healing, she is encountered with a lot of emotions of anger and sadness. And this is part of her healing journey. So on one hand, one mentor was showing me, hey, love and light and all positivity and all of that, and let's be positive and let's do all the things that we can do, let's push it, and all the motivational speeches. And on the other side, this teacher, she was showing me that be prepared, this is normal, you're not the only one. So I was really confused. I thought healing journey is an expansive journey. I can be, but I cannot be positive and happy all the time. Something is wrong with me. I'm going crazy. And this is where I had to understand that the strategies that I was learning in the high vibe mindset and all of that was really useful, but it doesn't last long in a woman's body. And so slowly I began to transition into learning more about the energetics and the classical, the Chinese, the Taoism, the Tantra and all of that, which gave me a very practical view of the woman's body codes and how to not just heal but also do business and life, and remember that I came from a very left-brainer kind of world. I am the binary person. I need to have logic. I needed to know the logic behind spirituality. I had to make sense of it all to understand and practice it. So I got it through those experiences, and this made me realize that the more women I was sharing with at the time, that the whole hype around love and light and be happy is really a spiritual bypass into womanhood. The nature of feminine is dark. The yin is dark. We women are replicas of the moon, the Mother Earth. The moon has her dark seasons, the dark moon. We are entering the dark moon right now. Nature has its dark cycles. We too have it as women, but we do not understand it, and we are triggered by it as a society, as an individual. We are triggered by the dark. We feel that the moment we are not feeling good, the moment we are going through some rough phase, something is wrong with us. First thing, why am I not doing it correctly? I have healed so much, I have learned so much, I have understood so much, I have figured out and all the things. So why am I not getting this right? Let me know if you have caught yourself, because we are dropping the masks here, right? Like, you know so much about yourself, you've done so much of healing work, right? And when things don't go well, we begin to doubt ourselves. We begin to doubt our capacity. We begin to doubt our wisdom. It doesn't take much. One wrong day, one bad day, and that's it. Like yesterday we were talking with Dsouza. One client cancellation, that's it, right? It doesn't take much because we have been so addicted to our unworthiness. Not by choice. We hold it in our lineage for a really, really long time, but now we are recognizing it. And so the dark feminine really invites us to go into places, those unconscious parts of ourselves, where we are being our own repressors. So my teaching around dark feminine is different to shadow feminine. When we look into the shadow work, we look into the unhealthy feminine traits, the distorted traits inside of us. But when I was initiated into the dark feminine concept, that was back in 2017, I was clearly given the guidance that dark feminine, your dark feminine, is the wise one inside of you. This wisdom inside of you that exists, but she lives in this darkness. She's the point of your repressed power. And guess who the repressor is? Me, of my own power. Yes, there is a whole scenario about how we have been repressed and the patriarchy and all of that. But on a day-to-day basis, we are big time. We have a big time internal patriarchs. We are the daughters of patriarchy. We have that inside of us, this point that we repress our power. Why? Because oftentimes we do not even have a beautiful relationship with the word power. We do not understand what to do with this. And again, as we were talking, I want to use Dsouza again because we've been having this conversation. Like when something good is happening, we're like, oh my God, how can I take all these good things? And by default, unconsciously, we sabotage ourselves. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've caught myself many times being my own repressors in many sneaky ways. And remember, the feminine can be extremely manipulative. In the name of self-care, I've done that many times to myself. In the name of self-care, not showing up, not doing the right thing. In the name of self-care. The feminine can be manipulative. The feminine is also chaotic energy. You've got to understand that as well. Right. Let me know if this is resonating with any parts of yourself. The dark feminine wisdom is very much related to the archetypal energy of the dark goddesses. If you look into all the different lineages that worshipped dark goddesses, right? There have been plenty in many different lineages, including Hecate, Sekhmet, Medusa, Kali, Mary Magdalene. The way of these dark goddesses are literally to show us the mirror and dissolve illusions. What are illusions? Self-oppressed ideas about ourselves. But there is a different angle to it as well. All of these goddesses, they also teach us tremendous generosity, very deep self-acceptance, unconditional love. So the dark feminine invites you to go into spaces, the void space, the empty space between the trigger and the response. So whatever your wound is, whatever your emotional trigger is, there is a way you react to it. There's a way you respond to it. But there is a space in between when this happens, when the trigger happens, when the wound is activated, when you're feeling it strongly. And when you allow yourself the space in between, before the response, that's where you get to experience the wisdom. But it comes from exercising self-leadership. Is this making sense? Oh, the comments are only coming up now. Katya said, intention is to embody more and more of my wise woman self. You are a wise woman, sister. I enjoy our interactions online. Working with core wounds and sacred boundaries. Yes, it is making sense. So I want to quickly say about this void and the dark feminine and how it happened in my life. And some of you know this story. There was this time in 2017 when I was going through another dark night of the soul, right? Like how many times have you had this dark night of the soul moments? I think we keep having it. It's not like just one in a lifetime offer, right? So this is the process of life. And hence the wisdom of the death and the dark is so important, because next time we are there in those dark moments, we then gain the energetic capacity and wisdom to work with it, rather than going into the spiral of I'm not good enough, I can't do it, right? So it was this time in my life, it was in 2017, and there was this particular day. I'm going to tell you what day it was because I remember it so vividly. But what was happening in my life is that now that the business was running really well, I was having clients and everything was working fine. My clients at the time, my work was purely focused on sacred sexuality. So I was teaching sensuality and tantra and all the yoni practices, and so my clients were getting beautiful results, but my personal life was falling apart. And something happened in my relationship at the time, and that really shattered me. And I just couldn't believe that this was happening to me. Like, how can this happen to me while I am working on the exact same concepts and modalities, and my clients are having beautiful results? How can my man not see this? Right? So I went into this loop of I am a hypocrite, I'm not good enough, I'm an imposter, I'm gonna just shut down my business, because if my personal life is falling apart, how can I even show up and advise to the women? How can I coach the other women? It's not possible for me, so this is it. So I was in that loop, and I don't know about you, but maybe sure, when you go into that loop, the spiral can take you into many stories that doesn't exist except in your head, right? So this time in my life at a time, and this is when I had an initiation from Mary Magdalene, and I had an entire download about this dark feminine, and it was given to me by her. This was the Saturday after Good Friday of 2017. This was the Saturday before the Easter of 2017. It was so significant because I was in the space in between the death and the rebirth, the death and the resurrection, literally. And I got to understand how to stay in that space in between, in that void. And now, can I fully accept my humanness, the divinity of my humanness, in love, in non-judgment? Because without that, there will be no rebirth, there will be no resurrection. There'll be only death and death and death, and the loop and loop and loop. So I understood this concept. But that was not it. I was shown by the dark feminine places where I was doing this to myself. Many places where I was out of integrity. And the reasons why my personal life was falling apart, because of places where I was out of alignment. Not that I was doing something wrong, but there were a lot of ways that I had bought into the illusions of becoming the teacher and the guru, and I have totally neglected what was happening in my life, personal life, for a really long time. In fact, in some ways, I was so excited about how good I was as a teacher that I kind of started demanding from people around me that, hey, you all should manage around my schedules and my workings and my ideas, because my life is working. See, I'm helping women and it's great, right? So there was something that I had to have I had to dissolve some illusions. It was a very humbling journey. And the more I started working with the dark feminine, the more humbling the journey began. But not just that, the humility brought more power. Not just that, the humility also brought more realignment back into love, back into leadership in ways where I understood that if I have to show up and be in service, the only way is through alignment with my true self. And hence, the act of self-leadership, the liminal space, right? Yes. Feminine is everything: chaos, beauty, death, rebirth. So there are places in your life where chances are sometimes you lose sight of where and why you're heading to. And that's when the dark night of the soul hits. So the concept of self-leadership, and there are various concepts of leadership, right? Like we hear about heart leadership, feminine leadership, womb leadership. These are all beautiful archetypes and modalities and really good. But the concept of self-leadership really helped me at various low, dark nights of the soul moments of my life, because self-leadership is the ability of the self, which is you and me, right? Ability of an individual to influence your own thoughts and beliefs to achieve a desired outcome. Yeah. So I want you to feel into it. Self-leadership is your ability to influence yourself. How? To influence your thoughts, your beliefs, your choices, your decisions on a day-to-day basis in order to achieve your desires, whatever it is, or desired outcome, whatever it is. And having said that, feel into how are your thoughts, beliefs, actions, choices? How much influence it has on you? Or how do you influence yourself? Self-leadership is becoming intentional about influencing your thoughts, your ideas, your perspectives that suits your idea of being, your desires, your personality, your life. It is so important because, truth be told, if you are not able to influence yourself, then guess what? Everyone around you is ready to influence you. I don't know if you have noticed. Everyone has an advice for you, right? Everyone has an advice for you. And everybody, this is what happens, like the job that you are in, it's influencing you. It's influencing your vision, the relationship. It's influencing the family dynamics, people, friends. Everybody is influencing one another in various ways, and nothing is right and wrong and good and bad. But it is so important for us to influence ourselves intentionally. Because as women, we are being tested all the time. The idea of society itself is traumatizing for a woman's body. It's not made for a woman's body. We've got to influence ourselves based on what we want to experience in this life. There is a lot of confusion around, there's a lot of chaos around, a lot of foundations are crumbling. And so one of the ways to really exercise our self-leadership is to understand that, hey, I have a choice to influence myself. I'm going to choose the places that benefit me. You are here because you're choosing to influence yourself through this space. And we've got to understand that we have this choice. No one can. This is the one thing that no one can take away from you. No force can take away from you. Your freedom to choose your response to a situation, response to what is happening in your life. And by default, we often choose the worst responses. I don't know about you, but I used to be this way. That out of the, they say that there are infinite possibilities. And out of the infinite possibilities, I used to always imagine the worst possibilities. Right? How many times do you feel like this when something goes not your way? So self-leadership is an important aspect, because this is when wisdom gets embodied. Inside of us as women, we hold a lot of trauma. Our bodies hold a lot of trauma. But our bodies also hold a lot of wisdom. We've got to turn on the volume of the wisdom. You don't have to turn down the volume of the trauma. It can exist. But alongside, if you turn up the volume of the wisdom, that's when you become embodied wisdom. And that's what we are called to do, to give. Because many women here are into giving, into services, into healing, holding space for other people. Right? So we've got to learn how to influence ourselves. And I just want to take a moment here to drink a sip of water and turn on my lights. How is this landing? What is coming up for you? I've been talking for a bit. Let me know. Let's get some conversation here. Oops. I see some chat. Where's the chat? Oh, okay, chat is here. with myself and my partner, that humbling has had to happen. Yes, the ego comes in hard after every expansion to test this expression of yourself. The more you recognize what is you and not you, the more you can trust your body to navigate, because you start hearing its small voice, but you need to get quiet to listen. I feel it in my body, yes. And here is the thing, that I believe a part of self-leadership for me has been to put myself in places where other women know my vision, because there are times that I forget. There are times that I do not remember because the chaos is too loud. So one of the ways to influence myself is I choose the places where I put myself in, so that those women are able to also hold me in my big vision. Okay, I needed to turn on my light. And this whole idea of self-leadership also came into my world, especially during 2020, when the entire world was shut down, and there were so many versions of so many things, and people talking, families, talking different ideas, and at the time I was in India. I had left my London life in 2 suitcases, 14 years of life in London. We packed our bags and we reached India in a very deserted island, a tropical island. This is where I was born, and we decided to go there just to think what to do next in life with our 2 suitcases, me and my husband. That's when this lockdown happened. We got stuck in those islands for the next 2 years. We couldn't leave. It was really bad. In the beginning, the first 6-8 months there was no proper electricity, there was no internet, there was ration supply was low because of all these things. Life was really hard. It was summer and there was not enough rain, so water was scarce, like there was nothing. And I had to learn, what do I do with myself when I have nothing? Like there's nothing left. What do I do? And plus everyone wants to get injected. Not my style. What do I do? Okay. The light. And this is when I actively decided to influence myself. I am going to choose how I want to live my life, and I'm going to put myself into places where people understand that this is me, this is my life, and this is and they can inspire me, influence me, and make me be more visible to myself, because oftentimes we need to be shown the mirror. This is the way of the dark goddesses. Working with Kali, working with Mary Magdalene, Sakmat, they show you the mirror where you are not holding yourself high, mirror where you are being repressed by yourself. Nobody else is coming. How? By your thoughts, ideas, actions about yourself, right? So I want to share with you 5 foundations of self-leadership that I understood through working with my dark feminine wisdom. First one, and let me know how it is suiting you. And I'm going to give you some journaling prompts. Sit with it, and we can meet tomorrow for more discussions around it. But I hope this is being useful for you. So you are getting some nuggets around what I'm sharing, and also the way to go forward or make some decisions. We will talk more about that. The first foundation, okay. Learning to hold big vibe over high vibe. This was my first lesson. Forced positivity, it's not possible in a woman's body. You cannot always feel happy and good and high vibe. in a woman's body. We are cyclical, we go in waves. A woman's emotions, according to Ayurveda, changes every 2.8 seconds. Can you imagine that, how complex we are? And this is the reason that we can have a moment feeling so good and happy, and then in 10 minutes we're like, life sucks. This is the nature of the feminine. This is the nature of our being. We are called, the dark feminine invites us to stop performing the idea of positivity. Like, drop the mask of love and light and embrace your bigness, the big vibe. I mean, are you not tired of chasing happiness? Can you hold yourself in reverence when you are feeling low? Can you hold yourself as in experience of the sacred when you are feeling low, without judgment? This is the invitation here. When we stop judging ourselves, when we are not feeling good, this is where the wisdom appears. This is where the kiss happens, the kiss of the light and dark. Because in a judgmental state, we go into the pushing, performative, action-driven ways. So the dark feminine really invites us to specifically embrace our not so good feelings. It comes and goes. Those are not your identity. Happiness is not your identity. Anger is not your identity. Your emotions, feelings are not your identity. They are just sacred revelations. They come and go. It doesn't define your worth. So where in your life are you called to drop the mask of being judgmental and non-accepting of your own current heavy emotions? Later today, just sit with this and allow yourself to notice, wow, this is the heavy feeling and I've been judging myself for this for so long. Can I just embrace this as the sacred? Because all is sacred. One of the core concepts of Tantra is transfiguration, seeing the sacred in all, even the things that piss you off, or even the people who hurt you or annoy you. And then it becomes really relieving, I must say, because next time when the low hits, you're not pushing to overcome it. You move with it, like, okay, there it is again. It's a very familiar feeling. I know this. Happens to me many times. Happening to me now again. How do I choose to respond? Because when you recognize and accept without judging, and then ask yourself, how do I now want to respond to it? You come from a place of empowerment within yourself. You do not come from a place of fixing them. Although the actions may look like fixing oftentimes, but the energy behind it is really different. We've got to stop oppressing ourselves for the ways we feel. Our feelings reveal important things about ourselves to us. Oh, my chat has disappeared. Emotional presence, right? Yeah. Non-judgmental emotional presence. So that's one of the first foundation. Choosing the big vibe instead of like, yay, happy, happy, high. We go wider. We go wider. And guess what? The wide trees, they have strong roots, right? This is how you get to be rooted. This is how you can hold bigger space for the other people you provide service for. This is so important. The second foundation is choosing courage over confidence. We've been told to fake it till you make it. Like just gather some confidence and show up. You can do that. I tried doing that with my mentor who was teaching me all strategies and networking and sales and all of that. I was going into his directions of how to do business, and I was showing up acting as the confident one until I got drained. Because why? Confidence is a masculine construct. It's a performative construct. It's on the external. Courage is born in the body. It's sourced from your heart. Courage frees you. Why? Because when you source this courage from your heart, your courage arises from the connection to your heart and the trust in the unseen. This is what courage is all about. It's very internal, it's very sacred, it's very somatic. When you choose from your heart and you step out into your visibility and show up, choose courage, it's freeing you. It's not performative. It frees you because you are no longer then chasing perfection. It frees you because courage, when you are showing up in courage and you make mistake, guess what? You then can choose something else to be courageous about. Courage makes space for imperfection. But when you're acting as something else or somebody else or some kind of persona, and you are showing up and you're doing the things and then it doesn't happen, you feel like an imposter. You feel like a failure. That's what was happening to me. Courage hones your self-trust. Even if things go wrong, even if you make mistakes, even if you screw up, you know that you have sourced something from inside of you. It's a combination of your connection to your heart and trust in the unseen. And this allows you to overcome your fear of being seen, showing up, voicing yourself. It's an act of self-leadership. Right. So where in your life are you called to drop the mask of perfection? You know that there is an action you need to take and it requires some kind of courage from you, but you're waiting for the day you'll feel confident or when things will be perfect. So you become your own oppressor and you wait for confidence to arrive. You postpone your power until you feel ready. And that waiting room becomes like a cage. I've felt that, like I'm waiting for something. It becomes like your own self-imposed cage. And if people don't like you making mistakes, that's their problem. Nobody made you in charge of the feelings of 7 billion people in the world. This is not why God birthed you. Remember, nobody gave you the job of being responsible for others' feelings. Let people be. But most importantly, are you being? Right? How is this sitting with you? Is it showing you the mirror somewhere? And it's all coming from when you choose courage and take the action, universe will step forward to meet you, and then you can start dancing. Yeah, give myself permission to be messy and imperfect. I'm simultaneously a work in progress and a masterpiece. Yes. 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 I don't know about you, but I like being with people who do the things and fall and then pick up themselves and then do the things and fall. Like, it's not like they're messy. and But there is so much of the idea of perfection you get to see on Instagram already that I want some real deal. I want some real people here. I don't know about you. So that's the second thing, the second foundation of self-leadership, okay? Confidence, courage over confidence. Next time when you want to show up and somebody tells you like, hey, be confident, and don't go into that performative. Connect with your heart. Your heart has a huge capacity to support you. Courage comes from there. Next foundation. Okay, we're running out of time. Next foundation, standards over boundaries. This is so good. This is so good. And we discussed this in detail also inside the Feminine Empress Codes. Standards over boundaries. We discussed this yesterday as well in our Feminine Leader membership. I do not believe in boundaries. And this is what I was doing. Again, the dark feminine incident in my life, right? I had boundaries for people. Like, this is how my world is. This is how I do things. So I have my boundary this way. So people, the loved ones in my life, kind of felt like, what is wrong with her? and then they started neglecting me until I realized that, hey, nobody's there for me. Boundaries are rigid structures, right? And boundaries, if you really think about boundaries, boundaries involve two people. It can never be done by one person. Boundaries involve two people, you and the other one. And guess what? The moment the other person is involved, things are not in your control. So I recommend standards. Creating standards for your being. How do you hold yourself? How do you show up for yourself? What are your standards for your being? What are the ways that you choose to be? Because standards are the sacred architecture of your life. You create the foundations that are in integrity with you. It's a very important aspect of self-leadership. No one can make you feel anything until you choose to. Which means what? That boundaries can be really rigid, and sometimes it can create heart walls. It can create heart walls. And it is good to create boundaries when we hold ourselves in some standards first. So work should be towards the standards, and you will realize that when you have good standards about yourself, the ways you're being, if you're holding yourself in good standards, you do not feel the necessity to have boundaries because you know how to hold yourself then. So here's a question for you, and maybe a journaling prompt. Where in your life are you waiting on others to comply? Like, it's always someone else's fault. It's always someone else. As long as someone else does this, as long as this person does it, if that person do this, if this person shows up this way. Waiting on life for others to comply rather than setting standards of being for yourself. Now, these are inquiries that you get to work on yourself, okay? And come back to me with questions tomorrow. We'll take some questions. If you're reflecting, taking time on reflecting of what is discussed here, like, how can I incorporate in my life? Write to me. I'm here to support you further for you in your personal circumstance if it is confusing for you. But most of the times, I know when I speak these things, women exactly know. Our dark feminine is this there. She's like whispering, like she exactly knows where we need, where we are required to hold ourselves in new ways of being that are in integrity with ourselves. And those are our standards. I'm not responsible for someone being mad if I make mistake. Yeah, I like that. Fear of making a mistake is a big one for me. Yeah, so Kim G, I want to give you the permission slip to release you from your contract of being responsible for everyone's feelings in this world. Nobody gave you the job. Nobody gave you the job of being responsible for others' feelings. But it is important, thank you, but it is important that you act from grace. Doesn't mean that we become total nasty people, right? I'm not recommending that. But we women have the tendency of taking on responsibilities that were not assigned to us in the first place. Again, this is our internalized patriarchy. Free yourself and free them. People are powerful beings. Try seeing people around you as powerful beings, capable of handling their own feelings. Alright, so I want to speak of the fourth foundation. Let's do 4 today. Okay. Reclaiming the law of sacrifice. This was really huge for my self-leadership. There comes a point where, I don't know if about you, have you noticed this in your life, in your days? There are certain days where you can really push, you can do things, you can work for 10 hours, 12 hours, you have ideas, you can be going, and then there are days where you're like, oh, I can't even get a single thing done. What's going on with me? Again, cycles. These are cycles of womanlyhood. Okay, this is normal. Let me just tell you, this is normal. If you're in a woman's body, you have hormones, this is just normal thing. But the society does not favor that and does not glorify that. And hence we judge ourselves. So there is a particular thing called the law of sacrifice. When I understood this, it made sense. The more I was learning in India with some of the teachers there, I understood the law of sacrifice so well in a way that has not been taught to us. We've been taught, so in terms of our self-leadership, I want us to reclaim this law of sacrifice in a beautiful way, in a sacred way. We've been taught in order for us to show up in our leadership, there is no pain, no gain. There is no success without sacrifice, right? Let me know if you've been taught this, that you have to always sacrifice. If you want something in life, you have to sacrifice. No pain, no gain. And many of the leadership books teach that. A leader must give up to go up and things like that. Was kind of like my story for a really long time until I met the dark feminine. But guess what? It didn't serve my body as a woman. But I understood the distortion behind this. There's a wisdom that has been distorted. Again, there are a lot of narratives that have been distorted in our patriarchal world. When you look into Nordic mythology and as well as the Eastern philosophy, including the Vedas, there's a very specific important law, which is the law of sacrifice, which states something like this. In order for you to receive something that is of higher value to you, you must be willing to let go of something that is of lower value to you for a desired outcome. So feel into this, because law of sacrifice is not about sacrificing your life force energy. In order for us to receive something that is of higher value to us, we must be willing to let go of something that is of lower value to us. Right? This is the law of sacrifice as per many mythology, the Nordic mythology, the Vedas. And here's the thing, when you look at the root word of sacrifice, it comes from a word called sacrificium. When you break it down, sacre means sacred, holy. Facere means to make or to do. So when you combine, sacrifice really means to make something sacred. Offering, giving, or letting go of something to honor a higher purpose. Why is this important in relation to the dark feminine? Because she invites us into the sacrifice, the law of sacrifice, which is what? Sacrificing that something that is of lower value to us in our lives, but we are still holding on to it. Sacrificing this outdated role, the mask. Many of us have confused sacrifice with martyrdom. We have been called to sacrifice our good girl. Sacrifice the ways we are oppressing ourselves for our highest good. Sacrifice people-pleasing. Sacrifice the not being seen. Sacrificing not allowing ourselves to be seen. Sacrificing the comfort of invisibility. Nature sacrifices, lets go, sheds, womb sheds. So sacrificing pretty much is literally the act of giving something that you're holding on to, giving away your smallness that you're holding on to, so that you can reclaim your bigness. Burning away that false self, like Kali Malik, she wants you to sacrifice what? The false self. Sacrifice what drains your power. This is the law of sacrifice. There are things that you know that you desire in this life that requires you to step out of your comfort zones. And we are being asked to sacrifice the addiction to staying in the comfort zone. So, where in your life are you resisting to drop the mask of comfort, safety, playing small? That is an obstacle to your bigness, the bigness that you already know you are meant for it, but you're not allowing yourself. You see the ways of the dark feminine? She reveals to you where you are being your internal oppressor, making space for the higher value, right? And so this is why oftentimes for us to experience something that we desire, we have to go to the edge of our comfort zone. We have to get there. Nothing happens in the comfort zone. Like, we already know all of this. In the comfort zone, the soul dies. The soul dies. There is no growth. We are not here as human beings to stay comfortable. We have crazy soul contracts. I don't know about your souls. We have crazy soul contracts, right? Sometimes I question this, like, oh my God, what's with my soul contracts? Asking me to do all weird things my human being is scared of. But I know I'm called into the law of sacrifice. And it is about the sacred. It's a sacred act. And that's why some of the fire rituals are really popular in many traditions, because it's an act of sacrifice. You burn energetically or physically. Many religions took over it as a powerful ritual rite of passage as well, whatever sacrifice they did. It's applicable to us as we work with the dark feminine. So how is this sitting right now? I think I will like to end here because I've done a lot of talking, and today I just wanted to lay a lot of foundation about the dark feminine and the self-leadership, because tomorrow I want to share with you a somatic practice and talk about the 3 power centers of feminine consciousness according to the classical Tantra, Taoist lineage, and the wounds around it. But I think today has been, I feel complete for today. How is it sitting? I would like to see some feedback here. Let's read some comments. Yes, Michelle. What are you making space for? That higher value. I'm catching you here. Comfort zone. Invitation is to continuously let go of attachment. Yeah, and there is a lot of practical, when you're pondering on all of these aspects of self-leadership, feel into how you can apply to the practicality of it, because we all know concepts, all these concepts we know. Perhaps whatever I shared with you today you already knew and you felt it, and maybe I said it in a different way. But when you are, I highly recommend you to feel into the practicality only. What really in your life is being called to reshift, rearrange. Discernment of lower and higher value, right? Discernment of truth, yes. What's the fifth foundation? Thank you. I'm gonna share. Freedom, powerful is how all landing for me. Yeah. Very encouraging, motivating. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I was feeling to skip the fifth foundation, but since you asked, so the fifth foundation is pretty much the healing loop. The dark feminine invites us to step into our self-leadership and get out, exit the healing loop. And this is what I see in many of us, that we get stuck to one healing and the other healing. We feel that we are not ready. There's a calling in you and there is a wisdom in you right now, and you are ready. As I shared about my story, I had to become ready. I had to decide to be ready while I was healing myself and going through the journey, and also learning to facilitate and hold circles. It was a dance of both. I was being held and I was holding. I was doing the both, and this is so important because we in the Western society have seen healing as a 5-step stage. Like there's a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. When step 5 happens, we are healed. That's it. Now we are ready. But I don't know about you, but my healing has not ended. And healing will not end, because again, as per the tantric lineage, healing is infinite. Healing is a state of being. There's no end to it. Healing is presence. And so we wait for, again, perfection and the right moment and another course. There is so much wisdom inside of you already. We're not even putting it out there because we think that something is still wrong with us, you know. And most of us act as the victim of our own lives. And sometimes I have caught myself acting as the victim of my own life, like waking up and like, oh my god, I have so much to do today, and then I have this work and I have those many meetings and household chores and family and this and that. Healing is a state of being. When you are connected with yourself in absolute reverence of all that you are, you experience healing. That's a moment of healing. Healing happens in moments and days and presence. It's not a 5-step process, and healing never truly ends. There's wisdom in our body that is dying to be met and revealed and shared and experienced. Look at the situation of world around us. How long will you hold on to everything you know inside of you to reach a day when you think you will be healed? And this leads to a cloud of confusion. I don't know about you, but it leads to a cloud of confusion where you are not able to make any more decisions because there is so much inside of us. It's not coming out. It's just a one-way thing. We are receiving, but it's not a cycle, because wisdom needs to flow. It's an energy. So where in your life are you called to drop the mask of hiding behind, I'm still not healed enough, I'm healing this, I'm healing that? It's a wrong word to be used. Healing is a way of life. You know, when you, if you have your favorite person in this world, whether it's a pet or your children, your lover, or whoever, who looks at you and gives you a smile, in that moment your heart just cracks open, filled with love. Guess what? That's an experience of healing. That's a state of healing. So there is no end to healing. And we might as well stop chasing healing as a destination. In our life, we are born with one or two core traumas. You always will know that. You know that there is something specific that you've been working around your entire life. You understood, you gained through some wisdom, and then next stage of your life, that comes back. Then you gain some wisdom, you work through, you move on, that comes back. We do not accumulate traumas throughout our life, one after the other. We are born with one or two core traumas. That's our soul contract. We get to work with it. It's the work of our lifetime. It's the healing of our lifetime. That's our spiritual assignment. So the Dark Feminine really invites us to stop waiting for healing as the destination. You're ripe, you're ready. I have many diseases. This rocks my world to accept this, right? Healing is a state of being. Yeah. Every moment you choose total self-acceptance, you're adding on to that healing. Our bodies are wired to heal naturally. It's wired to heal. Of course, we get support, we use support, and we provide nutrition and everything else. But our emotions play a huge part. So with this, we come up to the close of Wounds to Wisdom, Day 1. I'd love to know what is really present right now in your heart. Like, oh, this thing I'm holding on to because I was felt called out. Please put in the chat. And we will close the circle. So much is sinking in there. Oh yeah, love, sacrifice, powerful, yeah. Like when I left my husband, I had to let go of comforts, yes. Starting a business, letting go of working for someone, yes. Consistent paycheck, yes. Letting go of comfort, right? Yeah. Safety, letting go of safety. We have been given an illusion to chase safety. There is no safety. There is no safety in this world. Safety doesn't exist. The only moment that is safe is present moment. I might just leave the room and be hit by a car and that's it. There is no safety. Nature is not safe. Reclaiming the law of sacrifice, yes. And so the law of sacrifice really shows us that in order for us to be in our true leadership, we've got to let go of attachments to the things that are weighing ourselves down, including certain habits. For me, these were big ones, like certain habits. The bits that are most uncomfortable, about most resistance is where we need to go. Yeah, portal to deeper intimacy. Law of sacrifice is a game changer in the way I'll make choices from now on. Yeah, and then you know what? When you let go, it's like you're trying to lose weight. Even that's a very bad example, but you've got to sacrifice something. But when you know, when your energy is coming from a pure place, an empowered place, it's more encouraging to follow through. I'm feeling expanded and supported. Thank you. Yay, Teresa. Love sacrifice, so relevant for me, right? You can use this with my clients. Yes, really resonating. Yeah. So this is it, sisters. I'll see you tomorrow. And if you found this useful, I would love for you to share about this with any other woman. Let more women join this conversation. I'm thinking of making this day one video available outside of this group who have signed up, so many others can probably see and then join the rest of the days. I'll see, but you'll get an email with a replay and all the other details. You need to trust that when you sacrifice and let go, you will get what you need. Yeah, we've got to come into the right relationship with sacrifice. Yeah. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And I will see you tomorrow for day 2. We will go into some inquiry and a somatic practice tomorrow, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here.